The attendance, how that goes.
So those are the type of tournaments we're going to go to. Oh, the game's starting off.
All right, he's fetching. Do you think he's going to fetch up an island here? Yeah.
That's a nice edge because Frankie's actually running a main deck back to basics, which is not that common these days. I know ANZD, Anurag Das, our boy that plays Miracles out there. Shout out to his Twitch stream. He's moved away from a main deck back to basics.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
He thinks it's not main deck worthy, and he has like one in the sideboard. But it looks like Frankie's winning a 1-1 split. One in the sideboard, one in the main.
We are buffering. Whatever.
How much is the delay?
It is kind of a delay. Whatever, this dude. Sorry, it buffered. Welcome to Store's internet. All right,
I see what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'll try my hotspot instead.
You have unlimited?
No.
So it looks like just some cantrips back and forth. Obviously, Ponder. I wonder if Kyle's digging for anything specific. Obviously, you want to pair a Ponder with a fetch land to make it a good one.
Believe it or not, Kyle is running his own back to basics in the main deck as well.
Okay, so that's more incentive for neither of them to fetch
Correct.
duels to start off. I'm just trying to check if Frankie's on a red splash. It looks like he is not. He is straight blue-white. So this might be interesting. This might be the scaredy cat game of who keeps in their back to basics and who's willing to fetch out their tundras first for better mana.
Bear with us. We're gonna go ahead and switch Wi-Fi's really quick.
Free win, Jim.
All right. There it goes.
There we go.
All right. Sorry about that delay. We are running off mobile data here, so we are going to be a little bit behind. Frankie looks like he has a handful of permission.
Forcible is exactly not the best card you want to be looking for in this matchup.
No.
Is the Stoneblade have any source of card advantage?
They do have 3 Jace the Mind Sculptors, but I really
They have a Teferi. They also have the Stoneforge
Teferi.
Mystics.
Yeah.
And 3. He wrote down 3 Snapcaster Mage twice on his deck list.
So he's running 6?
So I believe that's 3 Snapcaster Mages. So those are his only ways of gaining some sort of card advantage in this game, unless he hits like an insane Flusterstorm. But it looks like Frankie is also running his Flusterstorm, so that's something to look out for if they get into a counter wars who has their Flusterstorm, because that might just push someone way ahead of this game.
Yeah.
Usually it will be over something like a Jace the Mind Sculptor, or in this case a Teferi. Obviously, if you stick one of those,
you're going to start running away with the game.
They have a few answers. Frankie has a Council's Judgment to deal with it.
And
Also a Council's Judgment to
Kyle
deal with
has
it
one
as well.
as well.
Alright, so they're not just flat out dead to them, but...
Ooh, looks like Frankie's going to go ahead and terminus off the top here. Get rid of that Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, so it looks like he put the Miracle Trigger on the stack and is fetching out a Plains with his Flooded Strand. The fact that... Oh, wow, he has a Spell Pierce for the Terminus. I wonder if Frankie's going to force back. Force is generally not the best card. Does he not have True Name on the list? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it looks like Kyle's running 3 Snap, 3 True Name Nemesis. He just wrote down Snap twice instead. The fact that Kyle stuck a Stoneforge Mystic is pretty huge, because that's one of his main ways of gaining tempo in this game, also a source of card advantage. Looks like Frankie, I believe that's the Tundra that was in his hand, unless he shuffled another Tundra away, and that's his other... Yeah, that looks like a Tundra that he used to towards the Stoneforge Mystic. If this game goes longer, I'm going to say it's going to favor Frankie, just because the fact that he's running the accumulated knowledges.
Yeah, those AKs are going to start running away.
It's just such a backbreaker in any type of fair game. Like, there's no way Kyle can keep up with that kind of card advantage. Postboard, looks like he has 3 surgical extractions. I'm not a big fan of bringing surgical in these type of matchups, but he might have to bring them in just because how strong AK is
Yeah.
as a magic card in this matchup. It would be sweet if he had like one of his own AKs,
Yeah,
like in the sideboard.
that would be sweet.
But it looks like we stuck a True Name Nemesis.
Not bad.
Frankie's gonna force back, pitching a counterspell. That's surprising. I think I would have. I don't know. Counterspell is a really good card in this matchup. I think Frankie was afraid of Kyle forcing back, so he wanted to have the extra insurance. Frankie understands that once he gets the AK engine going, he's gonna run away with this game. So that might be a heads-up play from Frankie to just keep the extra Force of Will in hand. Also, they're going to go to a point where they can be hard casting it, so they can just 1-for-1. That's probably what Frankie wants to do. Looks like we're doing some shuffling. Frankie's going for the Jace the Mind Scorpion. I think Frankie had the read that Kyle doesn't have a Force of Will in hand, and he just went for it.
Alright, bear with us. We're going to change Wi-Fi's one more time here, and hopefully this one's going to do it for you.
Yeah. Are we still recording the video?
Correct.
Okay. So Frankie had the soul read on Kyle that he didn't have the Force of Will, but it looks like, yeah, Frankie kept the extra Force of Will and it's paying off. That is Kyle's one of Council's Judgment that he had to answer that Jace the Mind Sculptor. And this game might be coming to a quick end. The only way Kyle can really come back from this is probably sticking his own Teferi and tucking the Jace away and just hoping Frankie didn't draw the other cards. Jace the Mind Sculptor, but Frankie looks like he has a Terminus and Council's Judgment in hand. So if Kyle doesn't find a way to protect this Jace, he's only getting one Brainstorm out of it. Obviously, Frankie, his Council's Judgment is a very limited resources in facing a deck that has True Name Nemesis. So it might be Kyle's route to victory to just to find a quick True Name and suit it up.
Yeah. With the amount of couple of equipment, a Jitte, and a Batterskull, which he already searched up the Batterskull.
He doesn't have the Sword of Fire and Ice.
He does not.
That would just that would be the main way of, I believe, Kyle climbing back into this game. But looks like Council's Judgment's gonna deal with Kyle's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Frankie's down to 13, so that Snapcaster Mage is a legitimate clock.
What the heck?
We're gonna be able to take one more hit.
Alright.
Ooh, Teferi Hero of Dominaria hits the board, and it looks like it resolved. Frankie's stuck with, I believe, one card in hand. One of them was a Terminus, so this is not looking good for Frankie. He did not find his AKs early on enough. Looks like there's one AK in the board, in the yard, I believe.
There is.
Oh, it's loaded now. Alright, awesome.
Alright, sorry about the technical difficulties.
Will this eventually refresh?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's the delay.
Alright. Frankie has a few outs to this.
Could you pull out the top 8 deck lists?
Frankie does have another mission briefing and a few more Snapcaster Mages to Council's Judgment, the Teferi. Looks like Frankie's taking a counterbalance. This is also something that we didn't mention. I actually missed that. He has 2 counterbalances in the main.
Ooh, that's a form of card advantage there.
That is a form of card advantage. The issue is Teferi can just tuck it away.
True.
And I don't know. He can just not cast spells into it, obviously. It looks like he's going... Oh, yeah. He chooses to tuck the counterbalance away.
That's fair.
In Modern, this is quite the norm now, paired with a Field of Ruins to shuffle the card away.
Ooh.
I do not believe we have anything to force a shuffle, but it looks like we found a True Name Nemesis. Now, Frankie's held on to his Terminus for a long time, and he has enough mana to hardcast. Oh, yes, he does.
Exact.
He might wait for Kyle to make a mana-intensive move like sticking the Batter Skull onto the board as well to pick his spot to fight against. Since both players are running soft permission like Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce.
True, I could see that happening, but with
Oh, looks like Frankie doesn't have any Spell Pierce, but one Flusterstorm.
But I mean, you're trying to stick it against Kyle, which he for himself has a singleton of Spell Pierce, a singleton of Flusterstorm, and 2 counter spells on top of 4 forces.
This is rough. This is, I believe that is a Snapcaster Mage.
Probably targeting the Council's Judgment here.
But what do you go for? I think we go for the Hero of Dominaria since we have Terminus in hand.
Yeah.
If this resolves, Frankie still has a chance to come back. But we have to keep in mind, he's at 9 life right now. But I guess it is not uncommon for Miracles to just win from at like 1 life.
Yeah, he'll pull something out.
If this Council's Judgment resolves, I think we're at a pretty even game. Oh wow,
Ooh.
Frankie voted for True Name Nemesis. I'm not sure if I'm on board with that.
I mean,
Teferi is a very strong card because Kyle's going to be able to use his mana on his own turn and untap.
true. Pretty much always threatening counterspell.
Yup, he will have counterspell up for the whole game, for the rest of the game. He will be representing it, at least if he doesn't have it.
Snapcaster's coming in. They're going to go ahead and trade. So he went ahead and took care of all the creatures. Now here comes the Batter Skull.
Here comes the Hardcast Batter Skull. He does have 3 mana up, it's worth noting. But Frankie doesn't have a way to just straight up deal with the Batter Skull, so I don't think this will be big game. The Batter Skull might just run away with this. Frankie's fetching down to 8. He might be hardcasting the Terminus that's been sitting in his hand for a while now.
Hardcast the Terminus and threaten counterspell back up.
Might be it. I don't know. I'm just still kind of befuddled that he went for the True Name instead of the Teferi, because this Teferi is probably going to seal the game.
Oh yeah.
I believe he drew his counterbalance unless he shuffled it away. He might have shuffled it away. Is that an AK? Yeah, it looks like an AK.
Like it.
I think it's for 2 this time. He has 1 in the graveyard.
Draws
Yeah,
2.
Draw 2 cards. This is tough. Frankie's basically on a 2-turn clock if he doesn't answer the Batter Skull. He might have a Swords maybe in hand.
He does have Snapcaster. So you can snap that Swords he used earlier on that Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, it looks like he has a Snapcaster Mage. He might be swordsing the token away. Obviously, this is not a long-term solution with Batter Skull since Kyle can bounce and reset or just play a True Name Nemesis and suit it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I have 3 of them.
Oh, Frankie has his 3rd AK, but it looks like Kyle's responding. Wow, with a snap. Was that a Spell Pierce? I think it was the Spell Pierce that countered the early Terminus. Yeah, that's rough because that's how Frankie gets back into this game, and he might be running out of time.
Correct. This is the quarterfinals.
Who's Geek Plays?
Zach.
So this is the issue when you play Miracles, though. Like, usually when you're playing against a creature deck, you basically sweep the board once with Terminus, and then you stabilize.
Exactly.
Right? But when you're playing against Kyle, who's attacking Frankie on multiple axes right now with the Teferi and the creatures on board, it's rough because he already used up his Council's Judgments. He got both shots off.
True.
He chose to hit the True Name Nemesis, and that might be costing him this game because Kyle's going to hold up appearance. Also, Kyle just stuck a Back to Basics, and I just realized with Teferi, Kyle can tap his 2 non-basics as much as he wants because he can just untap them with Teferi.
You're right.
Looks like Frankie has both of his Tundras out. He has 3 Tundras in the deck, but he has 2 Tundras out on the board. 1 is locked under Back to Basics. Yeah, this is rough. Frankie might have to pull the trigger on the Terminus sooner or later. I think he wants to find the Flusterstorm as backup, but it looks like he's pulling the trigger now.
Yeah.
If this gets flustered... Oh, wow. Okay,
Ooh.
it resolved.
Resolved.
Which is pretty good, but Frankie is now down 2 lands. Kyle, what do you think? Oh, he didn't bounce the Battle Skull.
no.
I feel like that might be a misplay, but...
He does have a true name in hand, so it could be he wants a true name and equipped.
Okay. I guess it's not necessarily misplay because the Batter Skull might get countered on the way back.
Correct.
So,
And with your opponent being at 8,
I guess you
you
just
don't want to commit too much.
That's true. Wow. Teferi and Legacy.
Right?
Looks like we got a Ponder Shuffle off the Snapcaster Mage.
Nah. Geek Laser, it's all about that Ass Trophy.
Teferi OP. If you guys haven't checked it out, the Arizona Eternal Magic runs a podcast called the O2 Dropcast, which can be found on ArizonaEternalMagic.com. AZEternalMagic.com. My apologies. They just dropped their latest episode where they do 2018 in review, and they discuss what were the best cards, new best cards in Legacy that were introduced, and what were the coolest decks in 2018 through Legacy. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I would definitely recommend that. It's a pretty cool show.
Thank you. We gotta have you come on for an episode.
Yeah, I was expecting myself to win this tournament so I can get invited to be on the O2 Draftcast.
Next time.
But we'll see about that. Correct. This is game 1.
Correct. AK, this time for 3.
4, I believe.
Ooh, even
This
better.
might be the last AK. Oh, he exiled 1 AK, so it's gonna be for 3. I could be wrong.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, looks like it was. Oh, was that just for 2?
2, yeah.
So he has 1 more AK left in the deck then.
Looks like Frankie drew his own back to basics, which
Yeah.
is not good at the moment.
I believe that's the first card he's gonna be reaching for when he's sideboarding. It's not great, and with the presence of Teferi, it looks like it's gonna be helping Kyle more than it's gonna help Frankie. This is not the matchup for back to basics.
Not at all.
Yeah. You want to hit back to basics against like lands or Grixis Control. Pretty good.
Any Delver variant.
Oh yeah, it's just backbreaking against those decks. Yeah, I think actually, if we think about today's field, there weren't that many fast combo decks, so back to basics main might have been a very good call. That is a mission briefing.
Ooh.
So Frankie's going mission briefing. It looks like there's going to be a hardcast Forcible on the mission briefing.
Still holding up 5 mana.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough from Frankie's
And he
perspective.
does have a second Forcible.
Wow.
That is brutal.
If you're Kyle, do you force that too? No, it doesn't answer anything, so probably not.
So, yes, we do have a couple non-blue decks in the top 8. We had Jesse Adams get in with green-white loam. We had... No, it was green-white loam this time.
He likes to call it Maverick.
It ain't Maverick, though. So, no.
We're going to call it Maverick because Jesse prefers to call it Maverick.
We got Dan Ford on Goblins.
That's another one.
We got Brandon Hodgins on Black-Red Reanimator.
Brandon scrubbed out in the Legacy League, but he did pretty well today.
We got Mr. Corwith
On Tron. Just kidding.
Syntax.
It's TNT.
So we got definitely a bit of non-blue for you as well.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Alex Corwith, he is a GP top 8 competitor. He top 8'd the GP Phoenix last year with Mono Green Tron.
Yeah.
In Modern.
That was a very good appearance for him.
That was the joke. He wrote down his deck name as Tron in this Legacy event when he's playing DNT. So it looks like, oh, we weren't paying attention, and then it looks like game 1 is over.
All
I
right.
believe Kyle took it because
Kyle
he was
took
in
that
such a
one.
commanding position. It wouldn't have been that hard for him to take it. Post board is where it's at, though, right?
So how would you sideboard if you were Frankie?
So if I'm Frankie, I'm grabbing that back to basics. I don't know how many lands he's on. Let me see. 1, 5, 11, 13, 15, 16, 19. He's on 19 lands. This has been the new stuff, 19 lands with 2 preordains. I think this was also popularized by Anurag or might be someone else on the Moto circuit.
Interesting.
19 lands is very lean, and this is the matchup where you want all your lands. Generally, when I played Miracles, I was running like 21 lands or something, 22 lands, because I was influenced by the local Miracles player, Mike Griffin. In that case, you would reach for like your plains because it's your weakest land.
That makes sense.
I don't think Frankie can do that.
You cannot
go down to 18 lands. We're grabbing 1 back to basics. We're grabbing that. Frankie did not see his mentor. Mentor might have helped him out that game.
Bring in an extra mentor.
This is rough. I don't know what's the best. Disenchant might be okay, since Frankie does not know it, but you would generally expect a Sword of Fire and Ice at least game 2 from a Stoneblade deck, and Sword and Fire of Ice is just it's insane game. So I think Frankie needs to hedge a little bit, bring in his Disenchant. The two Vleet clicks, those are very good. Maybe the Flusterstorms. I've never been a big fan of bringing in Flusterstorm, but if you know your opponent is on Flusterstorm, then having more Flusterstorms obviously is how you win the counter wars. So, yeah, this is going to be some light sideboarding from both sides, I believe.
Yeah, and with Kyle, he has a Gideon of Trials, which I could see some merit for bringing that in.
I wouldn't mind that. Any source of card advantage, we're just bringing in.
Flusterstorms as well. It's a more efficient counterspell than Force of Will.
Yeah, Force of Will might be the card that I think Kyle can reach for to take out.
Yeah.
Frankie might be on the back foot that he might need at least 1 or 2 Force of Wills just to keep up appearance, knowing that AK will bring you back into the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you bring in V-Click?
I think V-Click's insane. I love V-Click.
Yeah. V-Click's a great one.
I think the real question is, do we bring in Baneslayer Angel?
Ooh.
I think just being threat dense is
where you want to be.
Where you want to be, exactly. You want all your cards to win the game or be answered. If they're not answered, they win the game.
Yeah.
And if they get answered, then, well, you get 1 for 1. So.
Now, how threat dense do you want to be? Are you bringing in those Containment Priests?
That's I don't know. That's a little. I
You're
guess
still holding up the appearance of a counterspell.
that is true. I don't know. I don't think it's great. Obviously, it's not great. But that's an interesting assessment. That I don't think we're bringing it in. Containment Priest.
Probably not.
It will be hot if they just brought in a 2/2 Ambush Viper. I mean,
That would be dope.
yeah. But I think this is a matchup where you need to make sure every card you cast is propelling either your game plan forward or stopping your opponent from gaining card advantage. Like, this game is all about card advantage. And Containment Priest, think of it this way. You have Containment Priest in your hand and you Brainstorm. You draw 3 cards and you have to put 2 cards back, obviously, since Brainstorm is not Ancestral Recall. When you're looking at that, the first thing you might be reaching for is Containment Priest. Because it doesn't do anything,
True.
right? Unless being a 2/2 dumb idiot. So, in that context, probably... And also, I don't think there's not that much he can
Trim
take
from the board.
Just the Force of Wills, maybe. Maybe... Ooh, Kyle did not see the Mentors. I don't know how much he is aware of Frankie's Mentors. I don't know if Frankie strategically did that since he was on the draw, and he felt that he wasn't gonna get back into this game. Maybe he didn't even show the Mentors on purpose.
Sandbag them.
Yeah, Frankie might be able to get a surprise Mentor, just keep all Force of Wills in, and just play Protect the Mentor.
I could see that. With the amount of cantrips in his deck as well.
Oh yeah, he's running the 19 lands 2 preordained version.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cantrips because he's on the 10 cantrips plus the 4 AKs.
Yeah, that's
And a
quite
mission briefing
insane.
instead of the 4th snap.
I wonder how the mission briefing has been treating him. It's definitely an interesting card.
Every time I cast mission briefing in standard, it just made me feel real sad that it wasn't Snapcast Image, obviously.
Having a body attached to that flashback spell,
Oh yeah, it's
quite insane.
yeah. I played against Frankie a few times, and sometimes when I'm on Storm, all he does is put in a 2-1 body on like my end step, and that's sometimes enough to just steal the game, because putting pressure on is very important in like a combo versus control matchup.
Very true.
But here they're probably looking like, I think Snap is probably the most important card of card advantage, because you just want to make sure you get your mileage out of them. The mission briefing, on the other hand, I wouldn't mind just snapping it off if I'm stuck in a rut with like not hitting my land drops.
True.
So I think level 1 in these kind of matchups is you need to hit your land drops. Like, if you're behind on lands, it's very hard to come back.
Very true.
So it looks like we have some land go action to start off our game 2.
Frankie does have a counter spell. I don't think he's gonna commit and counter this brainstorm though.
He's gonna brainstorm in response. Okay.
That's fair.
So Kyle just fired off an end step brainstorm on Frankie's end step, and Frankie's responding with his own brainstorm. Let's see how this goes. Frankie puts 2 cards back because that's how brainstorm works. Are we gonna fetch counterspell? No. Frankie's better than me. I don't know. Brainstorm's a really powerful card.
But this, I guess, if you're thinking maybe he's light on land or he's...
I don't. Yeah, if you have the read on that, maybe. But that's not exactly the game that Frankie's trying to play, I suppose.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know Kyle's deck is full of threats, so you might as well save the counterspells.
Counterspell is actually very important. We're just kind of joking around when we're talking about if we should counterspell the brainstorm. Obviously, there are spots maybe that is correct.
True.
But in a matchup like this, where you're trying to go pound for pound, your counterspell needs to hit something important. Or protect something important.
Exactly.
Obviously not the best protection spell. Like, Kyle had his Spell Pierce, which was protecting his Stoneforge Mystic game 1, which was pretty big game, I believe.
Frankie's going to go ahead and ponder here.
Right. Neither player has missed a land drop yet. Frankie does have a Tundra out. Kyle's a good player. He probably didn't keep in his back to basics. But, I don't know. It'll be a good gotcha moment if he just slams a back to basics and Frankie gets like locked out of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think either player are gonna be caught off surprise by a back to basics.
What is 3 Tundra?
Yeah, 3 Tundra. It's 6 island, 2 plains.
I would take the back to basics out.
Yeah, it's not great.
Slight tax isn't worth
it looks like Frankie kept in his Force of Wills, which makes me believe he probably brought in the 3rd mentor then.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, the only reason to keep in Force of Will in this type of matchup is because you have a threat to protect. Looks like Kyle's firing off an end step. Is that a draw step click or is it end step click?
I believe an end step.
All right. So we're gonna get to take a look at Frankie's hand in the glare.
Kyle trying to find some room on that piece of paper over there.
Somebody get that mana piece of paper. Also worth noting, Kyle has not been playing Legacy as active in the past 1 or 2 years, but I've heard stories that he was like the child prodigy of Arizona Magic.
He definitely had very good appearances back in the day. And it's nice seeing him finally coming back into the Legacy scene. Always great to have.
And what a banger to come back to. Like,
right?
Your first big Legacy event you come back to and you just like smack him and hit him with a top 8. So I think Kyle just let Frankie keep his hand. He's valuing the information over. Yeah, that's probably why. He just wanted to stick a True Name Nemesis, get this game over with.
He does know there is a counterspell and Force of Will in Frankie's hand.
But what do you do if you're Frankie? Your opponent knows your hand, and they're jamming into it. Like,
they're asking
like,
you to.
Yeah, it looks like Frankie's going to he's going to play along. He's going to try to force the True Name. Wow.
And it works.
Well, he got the 2 for 1, so maybe it's worth it.
End step AK.
We got a 2-mana Think Twice.
Hey, I loved playing Think Twice. I actually played Standard back then. Oof, that was a great card.
Yeah, Think Twice is pretty cool. It's actually card advantage because it has the flashback on the back.
Yeah. Better than this AK. You need to find the other copies.
Yeah, again, he pitched a counterspell to the Forcible. I'm just
That is
like,
interesting.
I'm not feeling that, you know? Like, counterspell is such a good card. I'm not
But what are
perfectly
you
sure.
gonna
Oh, it looks like his
pitch?
other card might have been... No, that's the card he drew. He drew a Jace the Mind Sculptor for the turn. I guess the other card was the AK, so you can't really pitch that since that's how you... Yeah, that's a tough spot.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That might be why Kyle picked that spot to slam the True Name. Because he
Exactly.
knew that's what's going to happen.
And here's Kyle's own
Oh, wow,
Forcible.
both players kept Enforceables. Okay, I might be behind in the meta of how you're supposed to sideboard in these matchups.
Dang. I guess, yeah, you would cut back to basics. Maybe the Jitty.
Maybe you cut some number of swords to plowshares. Yeah, GT doesn't do much.
Yeah.
If Kyle had the Sword of Fire and Ice, that would have been big game. I would have cut the GT for the Sophie in a heartbeat.
I think he would cut GTA 2 back to basics in the plains because he's at 21 land.
Yeah, if you're at 21, cutting a land is not that bad, since you're gonna have all the time to cantrip to hit your land
Plus,
drops.
you're on the draw, so
Yeah, exactly.
you'll have extra looks here and there.
So it looks like Frankie had a Flusterstorm to counter the Forcible back, stuck his Jace,
Ooh,
ticked up,
Terminus.
and here's a real miracle Terminus. He ticked up on Kyle, I believe?
I believe so.
Yeah. Just to stay out of range of the V-click from one-shotting it. This is a peculiar spot. I think Kyle has a Swords to Plowshares in hand. Let's see. Kyle's going to respond with a Flusterstorm. Storm count is 2. He's going to pay for both of them.
He ticked up on himself and bottom. Thank you for paying attention, because clearly we are not.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
So that wasn't that was a true skill Terminus then.
very
That was a
nicely
blind
done.
Terminus he hit. Yeah, I like that play.
Yeah.
Kyle did have the Flooded Strand in play, so I guess it makes sense to tick up. Looks like we're going to go Snapcaster Mage Flusterstorm again. Yes.
Thanks, Boo. It looks like both players are assuming back to basics are out. They are fetching their duels and not
Oh yeah.
caring.
Yeah. This is
4 damage. I'm going to -1/-1 this.
I wonder if that changes in game 3.
Right? I don't think it would be worth playing towards that.
It pitches to force.
It does pitch to force. Fair point.
I like how that is the argument for every bad blue card that sees play in Legacy.
It does pitch to force.
Yeah, it pitches like Shardless Agent, right?
Yeah.
Like it pitches to force. Like that's why we're playing it.
I missed that deck.
That was a cool deck.
Council's Judgment on the V-click.
Oh,
and
wow,
it
that's aggressive.
Snapcaster is alive though.
It still kills.
Kills the
man.
Jace.
I think Council's Judgments. I think you just hold up appearance, force Kyle to attack Jace with both creatures, gain some
True.
life that way. I think Council's Judgment is just too powerful of a card. It might be the case that Frankie boarded out most of his Terminuses. Is it Termini?
Termini. I like
Termini,
that.
yeah. Most of his Termini. Did Alex lose?
I don't know.
He was standing behind us and he walked away before I could ask him anything. That goes for the same for us as well, Geek Lasers. They're in the top 8. We're not. So
And that's why
obviously David did not play today. He would have taken it down if he did. We all know that.
I wanted someone else to qualify before me, so you know.
Give them a head start.
Exactly.
Yeah. But me on the other hand, I played and scrubbed out pretty hard.
What was your record?
I started off. I lost to Jesse, who made top 8. So
Okay.
shout out to my boy Jesse, who actually murders me every time we play.
He does. He has a good windbreaker.
It
You just
is.
can't
It's
storm through
stormproof.
it. You
It's
can't.
stormproof. His windbreaker is stormproof. But yeah, I lost to Jesse, and then I rattled off 2 wins against Miracles, and what was the other guy I played against?
I don't know.
It was too easy, I don't even remember. After that, I died to Burn, so it didn't matter. It didn't even matter. I even brought the second Tendrils of Agony in this sideboard. All right, here we go. We got a Monastery Mentor. If this sticks, this is... Oh, it looks like Kyle has
does have a
Swords to Plowshare rolled up.
Frankie's only 1 card in hand.
I wonder what that card is. Was it a Snapcast image? It looked like an RPTQ Snap. I'm going to say it right now. Not a big fan of the RPTQ Snap. It looks kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much more of a fan of the OG one.
The OG Snap. He's Asian.
Yeah.
Stick with that.
How'd it go?
We got our first tournament result. It looks like Dan Ford defeated Brandon Hodgins on Red Black Reanimator with Goblins.
Against a turn 1 Bristlebrand, game 1. On that game.
Wow.
Ruckus.
Apparently, his opponent reanimated a Gristlebrand on turn 1, and he just Karakiused it away. So, to all you Goblin aficionados out there, I hope you're taking notes. That's how you beat Red Black Reanimator with Goblins. That is Madness Story Mentor 2, followed up by a Ponder. And Kyle does not have an answer for it right now. He does have a Stoneforge Mystic. I think he searched up a Batterskull with the Stoneforge. So that will hold it at bay for a few turns.
But with this V-Click Swords Ponder...
Was that his Ponder?
Yeah, they're going to grow quite quickly.
Yes. So I think the idea behind this is Batterskull is going to play offense and defense. He's going to gain some life. This is still top 8, yeah. The idea behind this for Frankie is that he's going to get enough tokens where that he's going to cast like maybe chain 1 or 2 cantrips together and just Alpha Strike and kill him.
Yeah.
If Kyle had a read on this, he might have his Supreme Verdict left in.
Looks like Batterskull's coming down.
Alright, so that Stoneforge Mystic came down a turn early. Looks like we're going to AK before Kyle untaps and draws another card. So we have 3 tokens. I believe this is the second AK?
Correct.
He's going to draw 2 cards, pass the turn. Fingers crossed he doesn't hit a Supreme Verdict or anything like that. This is Kyle's turn to hit something big, but it looks like Frankie has the Force of Will in hand. Oh my god. So this is the type of miracles
and there it is.
Oh, that's
Teferi.
That's Teferi, but wow.
Forced.
The last 2 cards in hand. Force plus Boo card. This actually might be it. I think Frankie's running away with this game.
All right.
So we still have Batterskull, which is going to hold the creatures at bay until Frankie can get a good hit in.
Counterbalance. Wow. Okay.
So counterbalance, trigger all the mentors and the idiots. Counterbalance is big play. Obviously not as good as it used to be with Sensei's Divining Top.
I missed that card.
We all missed that card. But just turning like a Brainstorm, a Ponder, or a Preordain into a counter spell as well.
That is huge.
That, like, imagine if Brainstorm Red, draw 3 cards, put 2 cards back, counter target spell.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. Like, Brainstorm as it is already too good, right?
For sure. Cool. Yeah, we're streaming off it.
Nice. Go Dan Ford. Yeah, Dan won.
Brainstorm, Snapcaster.
Disenchant. I'm not sure. I didn't see the
It
disenchant.
did get shuffled away.
Oh, the disenchant got shuffled away.
Yeah.
Did we revealed a Snapcaster mage on top? Oof. Is Council's Judgment still in the yard, or did he already snap that? I think he already used it.
Correct.
He does not have an extra Council's Judgment to bring in. Yeah. Okay. It looks like our DNT player lost his top 8 match against Infected. Did you guys split? Did top 8 split?
No.
Oh, Jesus. I told you to split.
No, you specifically did not tell me to split.
Alright, so we got Dan Ford.
You cannot draw in the top 8. Actually, this clock might be a little misleading. Top 8 matches are untimed.
We're just kind of having a timer in there for reference.
All right, so it looks like Kyle found a Council's Judgment. He's getting rid of the Mentor. Obviously, we knew Snapcaster Mage was on top, so that was his spot to remove it, which is rough because you want to get rid of the counterbalance.
Yeah,
and
you do.
Now Frankie has Snap plus whatever cantrip he wants to do to set up his top of his deck. And he has Brainstorm, so he might even go for that.
Are you going to snap to cantrip to cantrip to cantrip and try to swing for lethal?
We only have, is that 4 tokens? That
Correct.
might be rough. Because he's hellbent right now. Obviously, after this, he'll have 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
Like, he can go 1, 2, 3, 4 cantrips.
It'll go well. It'll go well. I'm sure.
What does that put it at? There'll be 4 cantrips, makes them 5/5s. That's a swing for 20. But he has a Batter Skull. So yeah, that's not even enough. Even if he goes cantrip, cantrip, cantrip.
Alright, we will go ahead and turn off the timer for you guys.
I guess technically we should have been counting up, right?
True.
Yeah, well, just to indicate how long the game has been going on, the round has been going on. But now there's no confusion. We took the timer off. It looks like Kyle swung with the Batter Skull and Frankie's chump blocking with his tokens.
That's not a good position to be in.
Did he shuffle off the Ponder? Or did he keep it? I feel like I should be paying attention to these.
No, we're going to commentate and just talk out of...
That is a Jace the Mind Sculptor. That's a Hardcast Force of Will. Counterbalance trigger will go on the stack. Will he reveal? Nope, he knows what the next card is, so he kept with his Ponder.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
Very
this
tough
Batter Skull's
spot.
going to run away with the game.
Middle of nowhere, but it's fine. This one works.
I guess technically Frankie still has 3 chump blocks left with his tokens, and he has most likely another Mentor in the deck. If he brought in the 3rd one.
Yeah.
If not, I don't know how he's going to win. Maybe the V-Clicks is a way to victory? He has to answer. Oh.
Snapcaster
Ooh.
off the top.
A blind flip to the counterbalance counters the Stoneforge Mystic. Looks like Frankie's going to snap it off. Hit it. Snake estimate, snap it off.
What are you
Let's see what we're
targeting
going
here?
for. Probably Ponder. It's the best standalone cantrip. It lets you see at 4 individual cards.
A Force of Will. So he's at least kept in 3 Force of Wills for this matchup.
Okay. I think if that's the case, he's probably on the 3 Mentor keep all my forces in plan.
Yeah.
Which almost paid off. It almost got there. This Batter Skull is just making it really hard for the Mentor plan, right?
Very.
If you were on Entreat like the old days,
Then
you just go end step, make a billion angels, kill you.
Yeah.
But we don't have an Entreat in the 75, so if Frankie's winning this game, which I think it's looking kind of bleak. Oh, that's an AK. That's gonna draw 3. Is that
Not
4
bad.
cards?
3.
3 cards.
Drawing Force and blue card.
So we got some triggers on the stack. He might, yeah, he's killing the Germ token with a snap and a token.
Double lock it.
Yeah, there's no
No
Entreat in
Entreat.
the 75 of the Miracles deck.
Kind of what they did, like in Houston with me, and then you do and then like when they
Anurag Das, I think, has one. He's on like Blightling. Is it called Blightling?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
3-mana creature that bounces and
Does
Vigilance,
everything.
Lifelink, and it's like a Morphling. And the activated part where it gets +1 neg1 or neg1 +1 is the same activated ability. It's not a separate activated ability. So you can activate and then choose,
Interesting.
which is dumb.
That is very interesting.
Which is dumb. It's
Yeah.
just more mind games that goes into it. But yeah, no Entreat. Frankie decided to go the Mentor route. 2 in the main, 1 in the sideboard. This is tough. Even with the counterbalance, if we don't have a way to answer the Batter Skull, it looks like Kyle just bounced the Batter Skull and reset it with his Stoneforge Mystic, which gets around counter magic.
Did you get there? Dope.
Looks like our green-white Maverick player
Has
also
made it.
advanced to the top 4.
So we have Green White Maverick, Infect, and Goblins, and whoever wins this,
Which is looking like Kyle's looking pretty strong. I don't know.
Kyle definitely looks like he has this one.
Frankie needs to find the disenchant, and he has to pick a spot where Kyle does not have 3 mana open.
This is rough.
Like, Kyle can forever hold up, bounce Batterskull, reset it with Stoneforge Mystic. So it looks like,
Swords.
alright, this is step 1. We need to get rid of Stoneforge Mystic so we can't reset it immediately. Now, either we need to disenchant to force him to bounce the Batterskull and counter it on its way back down with like a Force of Will on top, or
That's a
just
lot
a
of
counter
work.
spell. Yeah, this is rough.
Only one blocker left.
Brightling, yeah. Thank you, R. Jorgensen. Jorgensen? Jorgensen.
Sure good.
Yeah. Anurag Das, in his 75, he's running like 1 Entreat, 1 Brightling.
Not bad.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's kind of committed to Brightling for some odd reason.
It's an interesting
Yeah,
threat.
that might have pulled him in a different direction of why he's not running back to basics in the main. Because against an aggro matchup where they have some amount of creatures, you want that to, like, against like DNT, you want that to hit the board and you want a way to protect it. I think it's the single white bounces it back to your hand.
Yeah.
Alright, so we hit a Terminus to get rid of the Germ token, and the token is gone as well. Let's see if Kyle bounces.
No.
Okay,
Plays out his own Jace the Mind Sculptor.
so
Tests the water. See if Frankie's gonna counter.
come on, Frankie. We can do a blind flip on the counterbalance. Looks like Kyle's shaking his hand because he know it's coming. Frankie's low on brainstorms, I think. He already used 1, 2, 3 in the yard.
3, yeah.
So I think it's unrealistic to hope for another brainstorm. You might have it. Okay. We
Oh.
flipped a Tundra, which is not great. Because
That is not.
now we have a lot. Yeah, we have a lot of threats on the board for Kyle now. So Kyle's going to brainstorm away with his Jace.
Gonna go ahead and brainstorm.
I think the best thing Frankie can have right now is like a V-click on the end step to just kill the Jace.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is the case.
He
And we know what we're drawing
has-
next turn, which is a Tundra.
Yeah.
This is rough. We need another brainstorm. Alright, so we're gonna ponder. That is a Pithing Needle, which can stop Batterskull altogether with a Pithing Needle.
True.
And a Flusterstorm, I believe. So maybe we draw the Pithing Needle. Is that a Flusterstorm? I think it's a 1-drop. So we draw the Pithing Needle, keep a 1-drop on top to lock him out of 1-drops. Oh, but do we name Jace or Batterskull then? We just have to answer so many things. I think this was the spot that he finds Disenchant. It would have been sick.
Yeah.
You get rid of Batterskull. Oh, okay. So Frankie's gonna go ahead and name Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is gonna name Batterskull, which means Batterskull's turned off until Kyle gets rid of the Pithing Needle.
Which looks like it's gonna have to be 2 disenchants
And
if
this
he brought
them in, or the Council's Judgment, which I think he already used
I
on a
believe
Mentor.
That's already been used.
He was forced to choose between Mentor and Counterbalance.
Yeah.
Wow, this game has been going on for a while. Like, there's gonna be a point where both players are just gonna run out of ways to win.
Looks
And
like Kyle did bring in Surgical.
Oh, interesting. They're on game 2.
Kyle.
Kyle did. So it looks like Kyle has a media promo Surgical Extraction. It's okay.
Frankie's gonna AK in
Oh,
response.
that's
to
actually the dream.
Surgical.
Didn't he have?
Fluster. Never mind. Fluster.
Oh, was
Okay.
that a Flusterstorm?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he kept a 1-drop on top.
No, I
Maybe
guess
he
not.
didn't. Okay.
What are all the builds coming out?
Okay, so it looks like Kyle's going to snap Surgical the Terminuses. We'll get to see if Frankie kept all 3 in, or it just has 2. So Frankie kept all 3 Terminuses in, or Termini.
And he kept in all 4 forces. So yeah, he was definitely on that plane.
This is very aggressive. This is very aggressive as a Miracles deck. You're running 3 Mentors. I don't actually know if he has 3 Mentors, but you're running some amount of Mentors. You keep in all your Terminuses, or Termini.
Terminis.
And and we're keeping all the Forcibles. Not exactly how I want to approach this matchup.
No.
Obviously, Frankie's a better player than me, so I could be wrong. But I don't know if that's how I want to play this matchup because it's all about card advantage. Like if your turf,
Jesse did win.
yes, Jesse did win with his green-white Maverick deck. Or Loam.
Loam.
Maverick, Loam.
You don't care.
Jesse, is your deck Loam or Maverick?
It's a hybrid of both.
It is a Maverick Loam deck. It's a hybrid of both. We got Cactus, Kuier,
Trying to
a lot of
find
numbers
it.
asking.
There's no actual life ones in the deck.
There's no actual life from the Loams in the deck, but he is employing some technology from 4-color Loams, such as the Mox Diamonds to power out threats, or in the combo matchup, in my case, to power out a T in game 1. And then I just have to scoop and go to game 2, which is cool.
Ryan is rooting for you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Jesse says thank you. Cactus Queer?
I think that's an Arizona player.
Might be Cactus Cooler with an I though. Cactus Cooler with an I. That makes sense.
All right, and that is game. Kyle
That is it.
takes
Kyle
it.
takes it 2-0. Not
Name.
what I expected. I'm not gonna
Definitely
lie.
not.
I always thought Stoneblade was not a great deck. It was like middle of the road between being an aggro deck and Miracles. And just Miracles did a better job of being a control deck. And obviously you had the Delver decks to do the aggro better. But Kyle's a better Magic player than I am, so looks like he took it down.
Top four is Dan, Kyle, and the Infect player.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
All right.
I think me and Jesse play, right?
So we're going to
4 or
get
5
things
versus
sorted out,
1-8,
figure out what our
right?
top 4 matches are. Let's see which match we're going to get on camera. Yeah, it's 1 and 8, and then 2 and 6 are on the other side.
2 and 6 are on the other side?
2 and 7 are on the other side,
Oh, on the
and
other
then
side.
3 and 6 are on the 1 and 8 side.
So,
So
you what seed were you?
I was 5. So I'm playing 1-8. Yeah.
You're playing 1-8. So,
Okay, so
I was
so,
1.
So it's
Yeah.
Can we go on stream?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to be. We figured out our stream matchup. It's going to be between Jesse James Adams on green white Maverick Loam. It's a hybrid build of his own that he's been jamming for a while. Against Dan Ford, our Goblins player.
Dan, take Frankie's seat.
Are you taking off?
Have a good one. Take it easy. See you later.
What's Dan's seed? He was 4.
Yeah.
Jesse James Adams. And was he number 1 seed?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Jesse was memeing how he's just gonna run back his 75 from the Masters event.